Okay, so now we're going to pull together a lot of the work that we did in the previous parts. First off, this is the USB bootable USB that we created in part 8, and in wipe. Let's just show you in wipe. This is the wipe scripts that we developed in parts 15, 16, and 17. And now what we're going to do is finish them off. So, armed with the ISO splash screen that we created in part 20, the last part, we're now going to write it to the disk when erase is finished. And do that with this. So, first of all, it's going to be pass parameters. One is the drive, that's SDA, SDB, things like that, one at a time. It's going to be passed the erase type, that's enhanced secure erase, plus other things that might erase the disk that we will do in future parts. It's going to update the fields, and if you look at the grub.cfg file from the last video, you'll see that in it has strings like ttttt, which is going to replace with the erase type. It's important that this is exactly the same length, 21 characters, because if you add or remove, well, not remove a character is probably alright, but if you add something to an ISO, it breaks it, because it's a very compact format, and there's no room for additional bytes. So that will restrict the length to 21. It's also going to do the date, and it's going to get the date from the wiped computer. Again, in future parts we may go into the fact that the clock on a machine that you're just about to wipe that's perhaps been in storage for a while might not be right, and that could be a problem, which we'll get around. And the trick is, well, the important part here is to use perl, and those parameters are p for it's going to try and identify lines. I'm not sure that's really important, but I is in place, and the expression is substitute, and that's the delimiter. And because the date has slashes in it, it's easier to use slashes really, like underneath. So it's going to replace the xxx-xx-xx that was in the grub.cfg in the ISO with the date, and that's the date string formatted. And then it's going to do the same with the type, and in this case I did use forward slashes, so it's a bit easier to see. So substituting ttttt for S-type in splash.iso. Does it twice. When it's done that, it writes it to the drive, which was passed in the first parameter, SDA. So that's how the splash screen is written. The next thing is finish, and in when there's multiple disks being erased, well, actually even one disk, when it's finished, it's clearer if there's a big finished on the screen. It's going to be in green. I'm going to do green there at the end when everything's finished, so you can see it from a distance. You don't have to be obviously sitting next to the machine. So that's finished. Now I created this. You could put anything you like, ended, ready, something like that. I got this from a website called Create ASCII Text Banners, and so you can see you can put anything you like in here, the font's banner, and you get the banner itself, which you can copy and paste into your scripts if you want to do something different. So that's finished. The erase script was developed in part 17, and it's been modified somewhat to improve it. So I'm going to put that in the comments. And wipe drive is untouched. So Now that's in the USB, it just remains to boot it and wipe the system and watch the effect. So that's it booted. Go ahead and erase the disks. I'll put 2 into the system just to show you what 2 looks like. Sleep must be performed to freeze the disk. This takes about 10 seconds. So that's okay. Continue. So we don't want to use enhanced secure erase because 2 minutes is fine. And that's it, erasing. There we are, it's finished. And you can see just above the finish sign the DD, which is written 34132 records in and out. Okay, so now we're going to reboot the system and see the splash screen. And there's the splash screen. You can see the date and the method of erase have both been updated, and every time you boot this system that's what you'll see until you install an operating system on it. Okay, so that's the wipe script.